Soul Farm. Catherine here with
Charlotte
and
Leonard.
And Franklin will be in and out of the shot as he's walking up and down the porch back there. So, anyway, okay. So we're doing an activity today from the very best hands-on, kinda dangerous family devotions by Tim Shoemaker. Okay. All right. So we're starting today with a bag of rocks and a screw. We're going to take turns making tiny holes in the bag. Okay, tiny holes. So you can do like 5, and then you can do 5. Gotta get the hole there. You can do both sides. You can do towards the bottom. And you move the rocks around if you need to. All right. So, did it feel good to stab the bag?
A little.
A little?
Yeah.
Felt a little good to stab the bag? Can you get my hands, please, buddy? Thank you. Okay. So, it felt a little good to stab the bag. Did any of the rocks come out when you were stabbing the bag?
No.
No? Okay. So, even though with all the stabbing we didn't lose any rocks, okay, and the bag still looks like it's holding the rocks just fine, right? So even with all the stabbing, the bag still looks in good condition. Okay. All right. Well, let's see how good the bag actually is. Charlotte, can you step out here, please? Leonard, will you grab that container of water? Okay, hold the bag. Like this. Leonard, open that.
Charlotte, make sure your shoes don't get wet.
Go ahead, pour it in.
All of it?
All of it in.
Warm water.
Here, I'll do it. You got it? No big sweat.
The bag's just
Okay, so what kind of condition is that bag really in?
a bad.
So it didn't look like we did all that much damage, right?
Yeah.
The bag was still working, it was still holding the rocks. It didn't look like we did a whole lot of damage, but in reality, we made a pretty good mess, didn't we?
We could take a shower under
You
it.
could take a shower under it. Okay, so can you guys think of a time when you were really hurt? You guys go ahead and sit back down. When you were really hurt by something somebody said to you, or maybe somebody said something about you, and you're just thinking about this right now, okay? Maybe it was me, or daddy, or a coach, or a friend, or a teacher, or maybe some kid you can't stand. How does it feel when people say things like that? Say things to you or about you, hurtful things. How does it feel?
Doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. It feels bad. Okay. So did you show? Like, think about that moment. Did you show whenever it hurt you, or did you cover it up?
Cover it up.
Sometimes a little bit of both. What about you, Charlotte? When someone really hurts your feelings, do you cover it up, or do you show?
I sometimes show so that people can help me.
So that people can help you? Okay, so sometimes, ooh, careful, buddy. Okay. So even though we may not act like the comments have a lasting effect, they do have a lasting effect on us. So in reality, even though we may not act like the comments had a lasting effect, they did, right? Okay, so sometimes we're like this big bag of rocks. We look like we're holding it all together, but in reality, we're full of holes. We're full of holes, and the holes are caused by the hurtful things that people say. Because the hurtful things that people say causes damage. whether we show it or not, right? Hurtful things cause damage. So is it possible that we do the same thing to other people? So we were thinking about times that someone did it to you. Is it possible that you've done it to somebody else? Said some hurtful things at one point or another? Yeah, we've all done it. Okay, we've all done it. And is it possible that when we make those hurtful, unkind comments to others, that they cover it up with a laugh, that we just don't know how much that what we said actually hurt them? Right? Sometimes people laugh and you're like, well, maybe that you don't know that it could have actually hurt them, because sometimes you might laugh at something hurtful that someone said to you. So why do you think we say things to hurt other people? To get them to stop what? So if they're doing something mean to you, you might say something hurtful to them. So you're second guessing that because maybe that's not a good idea? Okay. Do you sometimes think people say things hurtful because they think it's funny? Yeah. So sometimes people do it because they want to laugh. Sometimes people just do it on purpose. They're just being mean to be mean. Okay. So sometimes we don't realize when we say something unkind, but sometimes we actually want to hurt someone. So sometimes you may think it's funny, you think it's a joke, but actually it's hurtful, and it's causing those holes that we were talking about. Okay, so I want you to listen to this verse. This is from James, chapter 1, verse 26. If you claim to be religious, but don't control your tongue, you are fooling yourself, and your religion is worthless. What do you think that means as a Christian, as someone who believes in God? We'll read it again. If you claim to be religious but don't control your tongue, you are fooling yourself, and your religion is worthless.
If you say something mean,
Are you really acting Christ-like? No. Okay, so if we're saying something mean, you're not really. So you could be telling people, oh, I go to Good News Club, I go to church, we do these devotions with our family, and then you go and you make fun of someone. You know what that means? All that time at church and all that time doing these devotions mean nothing, because you're just going out and being foolish and mean. Okay? All right, listen to another one. Watch your tongue and keep your mouth shut, and you will stay out of trouble. That is from Proverbs 21:23. Yes, Leonard.
if you don't say something mean, you won't get in trouble.
That's right.
From the person that you said it to.
That's right. Okay. All right, so let's think about this. What if I gave you guys a box of Band-Aids? You think we could cover up the holes with the Band-Aids? Could we cover them? Yes, we could cover them, but would it actually fix the bag? No, the water would still pour out, right? Even if we had all those Band-Aids. So it is very, very, very hard to fix the wounds we inflict with our tongues when we say mean words. It's very, very hard to undo that. So we need to think before we speak. Right, I think you've heard that before. Okay? So we've all experienced the pain or embarrassment of something said to us that was unkind, rude, or insensitive, but we have to make sure that we aren't doing the same things to others. Okay? All right. So, one last verse from Ephesians. Don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. And that's from chapter 4 verse 29. So do you guys think that would be a nice thing to do? Start to say everything good and helpful so that your words are encouraging? Yep. All right, let's say a quick prayer, please. Okay. Dear God, thank you for this day and for this time. We ask that you be with us in our thoughts and help us to think before we speak in general, but especially before saying unkind things to others. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Mama.
Amen. Amen.
Mama.
Yeah, we need a tissue. Can you take that, please, Sharon? Yep. Thank you, guys. Okay, no rocks for you. Take the bag, please. And dump the rocks out. And I need you to get me a tissue faster than fast, please.
Put that bag straight in the trash can.